Greetings, everybody. Greetings, greetings. This is Calvin Ward, and I have not recorded on social media in a minute. So just wanted to do this quick video just to share with you guys for a little bit. And I'll be on, I'm going to be off. But I just wanted to also test out. I bought this high-speed 4K webcam. So I want to test that out, excuse me, as well. So I want to do all that. But what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm just going to go into some things that I want to show you and give you some tools and some tips that you can use in the new year. And I just want to give you a couple of tips. And for those of you that know, if you don't, I've been coaching and counseling for a while. So the new year is going to be a new year for me, just like it's going to be a new year for you. And it's going to be a year that I launch some things. Hopefully, you'll launch some brand new things as well. But let's get right into this. I'm just going to give you some 5 tips and 2 tools that I think you would need to use in the new year. And the first thing that I want to put on here and talk about is vision. I think you need to have vision for your new year. You need to have vision professionally. You need to have it spiritually and physically. You need to have it with tasks to complete. Now, everybody always talks about having smart goals, but I want to tell you, you need to have smarter goals. So going from smart to smarter. So smarter just adds the ER on there for your goals. Smarter just adds the ER on there for the goals, and so we'll talk about that. But here's the thing, as a corporation or a business, and you need to look at yourself as CEO. You need to have a vision of where you want to go. A corporation or business can't go anywhere if they do not have an idea of where they're going or they don't have a vision. To have a vision, you have to be more than a manager. So I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, I know what I'm doing. No, if you, every manager is not a leader, right? You have to be more than a manager, managing resources, taking care. You have to be more than a steward to have vision. You have to be a leader, which means you have to understand people. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to understand the objectives of the business, and you have to know where you want to take your specific team. I'm going to move over here to number 2 here. Actually, not number 2, but 1A. It's vision. Talking about being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based, evaluating, and reward. So remember, I said going from smart to smarter. So here is taking the SMART acronym, as many of us know, and you're taking it a step further, adding the ER to it. And the ER you're adding is evaluate and reward. So make sure that your tasks and everything that you're setting out to do is specific. Make sure it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, it's time-based. And then you have to go back every now and then and you have to evaluate. You have to look at the goals that you set and you have to say, look, are these goals realistic? Reevaluate what you're doing. And you have to look at the reward of the goals that you set. And with some people, they reward themselves for meeting goals. See, a lot of us have had things that we said we wanted to do even for this year, but we did not outline how we were going to do that. You have to specifically outline for your own life how you're going to do that, whether it is for your career, whether it's for your job that you work at currently. Now, career is long-term, right? A job is something that's temporary. Whether it is for your spiritual health or your physical health, right? You need to make tasks. And I think that's a big problem that a lot of people do. They don't sit down and they don't outline different tasks and things that they need to do. They say, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. But they don't sit down and make some specific goals, make sure these goals are specific. How can you measure what it is you're saying you want to do? Is it something that you can actually do? Is it actually realistic, right? And you have to put a time period on some of these things that you want to accomplish. So I know we're in middle of December. I'm giving, a couple of these tips coming from an NLP background, but hopefully you can take these and apply them because a lot of people don't do number 3, and it's being held accountable. You have to have accountability to yourself and to others, right? Because you can fail by yourself, but the thing you don't want to do is have other people fail because you failed to do your part in what you wanted to do, right? So you have to hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable to yourself, accountable to teams, accountable to other people, however you would want to do that. And so then I'm going to go here to number 4, set greater limits because failing is not a destination. Set greater limits. Here's the problem with that. When you set greater limits for yourself, you tend to fail because you're stretching yourself beyond where you're normally used to operating. When you set greater limits, you're going to stretch yourself even farther than you thought you could have stretched yourself, but you may fail. here's the thing to remember, and that is that failing is not a destination. Failure is something that happens. I'm going to use this example because a lot of people do this, and it has to do with self-identity. People say, let's use, I'm an effective communicator. Let's say I'm an effective communicator. So let's say you feel you're an effective communicator. So you will say, yeah, I'm an effective communicator. Well, let's reverse that. What if you thought that you were not an effective communicator? And so you would say, man, I'm not an effective communicator. But here's the problem with that statement. Being an effective communicator is not who you are as much as it is what you do. And so coming into the new year, the identity part of what we do and how we say things and how we identify with ourselves. And in that simple example that I used just now, you make anything that you have that you say, hey, I am this, I am that. Well, the moment you're not that, you feel like it's a hit to your personality, it's a hit to your identity, to who you are. No, if you feel you're not an effective communicator, so what? It is not who you are. So do that in every area. I'm not a good mother. I am not a good, father. I don't feel that I'm this, I'm that. No, you need to know who you are and get correct self-identity. So setting greater limits in the new year is something that you need to do so you can stretch yourself, especially in business, and especially in personal life. And number 5 is the last one, limiting beliefs. You need to cancel, and some of this is part of NLP, but you need to cancel limiting beliefs that are in your mind, in your life, in your environment, thought patterns, limiting beliefs. You need to get rid of these limiting beliefs and thought patterns. I'm not this. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm not this. Get rid of these limiting beliefs out of your life for the new year, and surround yourself, with people that can help you. So surround yourself by people that will challenge you. I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to get into 2 tools I want to give you, but I'm going to go back. Number 1, you need to have a vision for yourself in the new year. This is in the middle of December. You should start setting some goals and saying, these are some things I want to do in the new year, right? You need to also have these goals. I say go from smart to smarter. Everybody talks about SMART goals. There are smarter goals. You need to evaluate and reward, and then go back and reset some goals. So that's why I put that there. Then you need to have your own personal core values. Every corporation has values. You are CEO me. I am CEO me. You are CEO you. You need to have core values. I use the military values here, loyalty, duty, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I use those because you have to determine what are your values, because everything you do, your business, everything's going to be centered around those values. You have to determine that. And then we move on to accountability. You need to be accountable to people, accountable to self first. So what I'm talking about is being accountable to self. You need to be accountable to yourself. When you write tasks down, when you write things down, when you set out goals, you need to be able to complete those goals, have a time period on those goals, make sure it's realistic, have a way you can measure those goals. And so since I'm talking about this, you need to go back during this year and look at some goals you set for this year. Did you even reach them? Right? And some goals for people who have a career, you might say, one of the recent goals that I've set is that I'm going to get a certification every month. So and I've already started. So by the time the end of next year is completed, I will have gained 12 certifications in something. That is my goal. So if I end that year out and I don't have 12 certifications and I just have 9, yeah, I didn't meet the goal. But guess what? Because I stretched myself and, and set greater limits, I still end up on top at the end of next year. So accountability to self is what I'm talking about. And that's one of the things NLP brings to the table. A lot of people are, they let their religion, they let their, whether it's a work belief system, they let so many belief systems control how they think, what they do, and what they get out of life. But what NLP brings to the table is you need to understand how you think, how you operate, how the brain works, how the brain operates, so you can make better decisions for yourself, and then you can change your life for yourself going into the new year. And then setting greater limits, stretching yourself for the new year. You want to get a business, and I'm going to go back and use this as an example. If you want a business, people, you need to research the business, get the details, find out how to get that business plan, find out resources you need, find out licenses you need for your business, because a lot of you want to be in business, but you have not done the research for all of the details to be able to operate in the business. What is the budget to get you started? What are monthly operation costs? Simple stuff falls into the category of strategic planning. And I'm talking about you, because if you can plan your own life, which is one of the hardest things you will ever have to do, you can plan and strategically manage and plan your own life. Understand what I'm saying? Then you can bring those skills to any other aspect or area of your life, be it your personal family, be it bringing it to the job. And the last one that I went over was limiting beliefs. You need to get rid of these limiting beliefs that are in your life. I can't do this. I can't. Take can't out of your vocabulary coming into the new year. Why can't you start the ministry? Why can't you start the business? Why can't you get the six-figure job? Why can't you beef up your resume? Why can't you get that extra certification that you wanted to get? Why can't you do these things? No one is limiting you. You are the only person that is limiting you. And what's limiting you is how you're thinking about yourself. You change how you're thinking, you get a strategic plan together, and you follow it. Seems simple, but it is. Now I'm going to transition into two tools I want you to take with you as I as I close. So this tool is a tool. It's not new to me. It's not. It doesn't originate with me, but it's a tool. And it's called the final curtain. And so what I'm going to ask you is, what is it about your life that you want people to? What do you want that stone to say? What do you want that headstone to say over your grave? That this was a loving person. What is it about your life? I want you to do this exercise. It's called the final curtain, this small exercise. What is it about your life that you want to be written on your headstone? Because I'm talking about empowering you, giving you some tools you can use for the new year. But what is it? When you look at the end of a thing and then you can come back and look at now, you can make some changes. This is an exercise where you have to look at your death. What do you want it to say on your grave? What do you want people to talk about at your eulogy? And this is serious. Because a lot of people live life and they just live life because they want to be like the Joneses, or they want to be like this one, or they're just living life. I know a lot of people, they're going for their dreams, but they're only going for their dreams to the extent that they're saying, somebody's going to see me here. Watch me, watch me, watch me. Instead of doing it organically because you want to complete your dreams and you want to get it done. Final curtain. What do you want your grave to say? And the last tool I'm going to give you is a tool called the human experiential model. And basically, you're going to start from the spiritual core, which is your spirit, and go to your volition, which is your will, go into the rational part of you, which is your mind, to the emotional part of you, which is your soul, and of course, your physical body. So your spiritual core is at the center of all of this. And this is where everything comes from. Volition is your will. When you make a decision, a lot of people are used to operating in the rational domain, if I could say it like that. They operate in the rational domain, but you can operate in the rational domain all day long without operating from the volitional domain, which means you can do things because they're the right thing to do, or because the numbers say so, or the data says so, not necessarily because you want to or you willed it to be so. And then you have your emotional and your physical. Won't expound on those too much longer. So y'all, that is that. I want to thank you for tuning into this small video here. Again, vision specific, accountability, set greater goals, or greater limits, excuse me, and then limiting beliefs. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this little small video. I wanted it to be right around 15 minutes and testing out my camera that haven't been on in a while. So I just wanted to do a little video and give you some information, add some value to you. I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you got something from this video, I want you to please share this with someone. And again, thanks for tuning in. Be blessed. This is your new year. This is a new life, a new you. The power to change your life is in your hands. What are you going to do about it?